撞親個頭喎。啊？係啊。又好小心㗎，喺度要撞。驚啊！唔使驚嘅喎，撞都冇事啦，冇落雨。啲行埋啦。唔好擒上去都係啦，咁樣睇啱啦。
don't speak Chinese, and so if someone will explain to the people around them who might not understand what I'm saying, please do that. So rule number 1, please follow any instructions given to you by the crew or myself. If you hear an alarm bell go off, very unlikely, please make your way calmly up the gangway and over here to be counted. Do not jump off the boat. Number 2, please keep both feet on the boat at all times. That means don't climb on anything. Please don't undo any ropes. Definitely not undo any ropes. Please don't move anything. If any doors are closed, please do not open them. The thing to remember is that the ship is the crew's home, and please treat it as you would like your home to be treated by 50 strangers having a wander around. The helm, the big wheel, do not try to move it. You will break it, and then it will be very expensive, and we will not be allowed other people onto the boat. So just to go over that. Both feet on the deck at all times. Don't jump out of the boat. Don't climb onto anything or into anything. It's their home. If a crew member gives you instructions, please follow them. Don't untie any knots. Don't light anything on fire. I guess I might as well say that. And please, the crew is working, and so please allow them to work. Don't try to startle them, especially if they have a power tool. So that's it. Please enjoy taking pictures. Adults must stay with children at all times. Do not allow children to wander. This is a workplace. It is an unsafe environment. I mean, if you follow the rules, it should be fine. But don't assume that everything is very simple. Okay? So we'll let you on, and please watch your head, because this goes up and down very slowly. So I will allow you on a few at a time. Everyone will get on. Don't worry, and then you can have a wander around the boat. So thank you very much. So here we go. Be very careful. It can be very steep.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Dominique. I'm Head of Education and Public Programs at the Hong Kong MariTime Museum, and we're about to talk a little bit about SORLANDET, this beautiful tall ship. It's a fully rigged tall ship, and it's part of this video that this wonderful gentleman has made for us. So SORLANDET is a tall ship. It's a fully rigged tall ship, and it's the only and oldest, I think it's the oldest, sorry, fully rigged tall ship that's currently sailing the world today. SORLANDET was built in 1927 by a gentleman who grew up in Norway and grew up very poor. In Norway, in the 19th century, there wasn't a lot of economy or industry as we know it today. The country, particularly the south of Norway, didn't have a lot of economic activity, and so people needed to find loads of ways of supporting themselves and their families. And one of the ways that they did that was by becoming crew on ships. Now in the 19th century, many of the ships that were going around the world were sailing ships. And so this young man decided he would make his way in the world. Eventually he became very wealthy and opened up his own shipping company. Hang on one second. So this young man, eventually when he grew up and made a lot of money, he commissioned this ship SORLANDET to be a training vessel for young men from the south of Norway to learn to develop their skills so they can go off into the world and make money and support their families successfully. So the ship operated as a training vessel for, at the time, young men, but now young men and women who are interested in learning to sail. It has 27 sails, over 6 kilometers of rope, and everything related to the ship today is intended to evoke and maintain a certain level of authenticity and integrity to the original designs and the original foundation and construction of the ship. So for example, the deck is all Norwegian pine, and it's only to be replaced by other types of Norwegian pine. So throughout the 20th century, the ship operated as a sail training ship for young men, but in sometime in the 1950s, 1960s, obviously that became less important and less viable as a way for people to support themselves and their families, as most shipping made a transition from sailing to being powered by different sources of fossil fuels. So the ship at some point in the 1960s was sank and was rebuilt and refurbished. It was donated to the place called SORLANDET in Norway, and at that point, people were the original young man, his grandson purchased the ship again for the people of Norway, and it turned into it was reconstituted as a training vessel. A few years ago, it was set up as a high school, and now secondary school students from around the world study an advanced placement curriculum, whilst they also learn to sail and sail around the world. So when SORLANDET arrived in Hong Kong in June of this year, it actually had left Rotterdam in August of 2015, and then made its way across the Atlantic, through the Panama Canal, and across the Pacific, and ended up in Hong Kong in late June of 2016. And so that's where we are today, and we've been really fortunate at the MariTime Museum to be able to offer tours of this boat to members of the public while the crew is doing their annual maintenance checks and routine refurbishments and things like that.
Taking the time and then we do that for the crew. How many of the crews? this one.
No, this is.
Delicious.
Okay. Please.
You're the chef?
This is not cooked yet.
You should eat a lot of seafood, I mean. You know, along the voyage. I mean,
Yeah, we should.
Yeah,
we
go
should,
fishing and you know.
Yeah, that comes. More students. So at the moment we are.
What is the maximum capacity?
We've had 96.
96 on this.
Yeah. There's lots of places to see.
Norway. Like you started from Norway.
The school started in Norway. The ship has been going.
你咁滯，你再嚟啦！佢都幾難，自己叫你跳㗎嘛。有啊，擺啲獎繼續。嚇？你自己唔影相啊？嚇？上邊咯。得啦。唔係影到咪成堆住咯。你幾拉好要查？我驚斷啊！咁高。You know what? I was avoid the example put it in the water there so they get it. I haven't got my hair ready. I'm on it. Kỹ gì? Cái gì xuyên vô mẹ này. Cố lên nha. Wow, định tài. Wow, hình như siêu sụp quá. Chưa à? Hối錯啊！你而家係好錯啦，快啲啦！
我唔啊，啊，係啊，
係喎，大隻咯！
阿爸想坐嗰隻船。
呢隻啊，大啲隻啊！好啊，我大隻嚟，我隻大隻，中意我大隻啊！
好大。
係好啊！好啊！No, horizontal. 攞唔攞啊？攞唔關事啊！關啲攞兩個唔真啦。
Yeah, because it's holding down. Gimbal. Navigation. Why not? Yeah, not a different.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, so I've seen other ships have like a green bit and a red bit, and that's literally so people see it and say, oh, this is that side. Yeah. If they don't know which way round it is.
Well, yeah, but you have an answer.
소리가 서다를 해주는.
好啦，再寫前面嘅煙啦。
偷嘢咁樣，奇奇啲個人咧，
好險啊！
次次都好似偷嘢。
好險啊！而家我過3次喎，
點話？
3次咋喎？咁啊跌咗落。
Camera? Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah. Thank you. No problem.
This one.
Yeah, yeah, with this one, yeah, yeah. Perfect.
It's in the middle.
The main game, they're fast. They're slightly like they're generally not but they'll have like good guns that can be aimed from. And the thing is, that's why it's there's so far
One of the many we've seen his camera. But he wasn't not. I mean, the expectation was going to have to be a victory because it's all about.
Yeah.
And that wasn't going to happen without the expectation. That's a joke.
Working back.
Not as fast.
Yeah, I do. I basically
Goes out. It's in German ship. German band. Yeah. And it gets out.
working out. Because also the big shells of the battleship, they actually didn't travel down bombs. They were bomb shells. So if it was, when you raise an army and try and